Well, the 1980s called and they want their pinball machines back. Today I picked up two 80s Bally games. This one is a Dungeons and Dragons, and this one is a Hardbody. Are pretty hilarious with that back glass. I'm sure it was interesting at the time when it came out. These machines have not been powered on for 16 years. They've been sitting in this guy's garage that survived a flood. However, the machines weren't affected, but the walls were really moldy and musty, and some of that moisture has seeped its way into these games, so they have a very musty smell. So I haven't really looked at them at all. I just brought them into the shop here, and we're gonna take a look at them for the first time. So let's take a closer look at this Dungeons and Dragons. This came out in 1987. One of the interesting things is it has this really unique topper at the top here. It's got some strobe type lamps, and I think it has some sort of dragon thing that illuminates in a certain mode. Now, I've never played this game either. I've seen one at the Texas Pinball Festival, but that's about it. Didn't get to play it. One interesting thing about this cabinet is Bally decided to make, I don't know if it was a cost-cutting thing or what, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. The cabinet has a steep angle, and actually half of it has been removed. So a normal pinball cabinet would come straight across like that. So Bally decided to do this weird angular thing like that, and it makes it really difficult to move with the pinball dolly. I mean, almost impossible. Basically, you can raise the front legs up, and someone has to get on the back and lift up to move this thing on with the pinball cart. So that's a really strange thing. Now, what's weird is this is an 86 Bally, and they went with your traditional cabinet here at the back. Looking around the back, it looks pretty good. You know, the artwork's a little scuffed up right here. They use particle board. Real cheap stuff. I guess this is the era that they really kind of cheaped out on a lot of things. So it's a little scuffed up, but it's not bad. It's not water damaged or anything like that, which is good. There is some flaring here with the artwork at the very base of it. The back looks pretty good. Again, it's just, you know, it's an old game. No water damage or anything like that. Now this I thought was really funny. FBI warning: if you use any of the audio for reproduction, distribution, or exhibition of copyrighted audio-visual works and video games. So I guess I'm gonna get in trouble by the FBI. Hope not. The Hardbody has that same sticker. Maybe that's something they had to do by law. Looking at the other side of the cab, pretty good. I mean, some nicks in the artwork. Again, some flaring of the sticker. This is actual sticker, it's not paint, so. And the particle board down here is a little frayed. Most pinball cabinets use a plywood, and they decided to go with particle board for the back box and the sides of the game. They did do plywood here at the front. Or at the back here, I'm not sure what's happening at the front, kind of wood that is. Haven't even seen underneath the playfield yet. Front of the cab looks pretty good. There's a little bit of vinyl sticker coming off here. Not too bad, but this one did have a key, which was nice, and it does have a manual, and not much else inside there. Maybe a couple of bolts to lock the head down, and looks like a box of lights. But there's some pitting here on the control surface, and there's pitting on the rails, so I might just go ahead and get some new rails if I can't clean these up. And a little bit of wood chip up here at the top, which isn't too terrible to fix. So let's check out the Hardbody. Cabinet on this one's actually in really nice condition. The decal is flaring a little bit right there, not too bad. Now this one has some pitting on the side rails here and on the lockdown bar. It looks like at some point the head crashed down. There's a little dent right here. Pretty dirty. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's been, well, he said it's been sitting for 16 years in his garage, so both of these. So this is what 16 years of dust looks like on glass. The back glass on this is actually in really nice condition, and the head looks pretty good too. Not too much. There's a little bit of chipping right here, but overall looks pretty good. One thing I did want to say on the Dungeons and Dragons, I believe there's some fading of the red color. And the back glass on Dungeons and Dragons looks really good too. I don't see any scratches or chips, but we can take a closer look at that. So let's look at the back box area of Dungeons and Dragons. So looking at the back of this thing, 2-player each score displays, alphanumeric. I don't know a whole lot about these mid-80s Bally systems, so I'm going to be hopefully weighing on you guys with any questions I might have. So we've got our power supply board, the CPU, and I believe that's the sound board. And then we've got all the fuses on one board. That's kind of interesting, never seen that, and our transformer. Now, one thing I am seeing is we've got these batteries that are just gone south. And luckily, whoever had this, I don't know if this is the previous owner did this or who we got it from, but they did a remote battery, which is great because if the battery backup was up here, it would have leaked down on all the circuitry and that would have been bad news. So that's good. So usually when I get a new game, especially something that's been sitting, you kind of want to go ahead and check all the connectors and make sure they're in solid, and also you can reseat them because sometimes they'll oxidize or corrode, especially if it was in a damp environment like these were. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and reseat all the connectors here, the sound board, the main CPU, and the power supply board. I'm going to do that with both Hardbody and this one. Now, kind of a funny thing on these Ballys, this little light bulb right here is what they used to light up the whole back glass for the game. So that's kind of a funny thing. So I'll probably swap that out with the LED bulb, and that will help with heat and also keep the heat off the back glass. So it looks like someone's added some sort of fuse holder. Maybe that's factory. That's coming right off the transformer. So maybe that's a factory thing. If you guys know, let me know in the comments if this is factory or if someone added that in. Look at that amount of dust that's built up on this game. Crazy. But let's go ahead and get the glass off and see what's going on underneath. Okay, I just raised this thing up. I'm kind of looking around for the first time. You're along for the ride with me, seeing this for the first time. Overall, I don't see any hack jobs, which is a major concern. Everything looks pretty decent. So that's a good sign. If you get a used game from somebody and you see a bunch of tape or hacked wires or wires twisted together with some electrical tape, you know someone's been in here that should not be working on a pinball machine. So right now I don't see any evidence of any horrible hack jobs underneath the playfield, which is good news. So it did come with a manual, which is going to be very handy since I don't know these systems at all. Looks like we got a ground strap broken that probably went to the front of the coin door here. Let's see, that looks a little weird. I think that's just a paper backing. Maybe the secondary contact of this leaf switch might have broken. Because usually this separator paper is supposed to be for another contact, and I do see another contact that could be there, so that could be a problem. Well, this other side has it too. Can't really tell, but yeah, there's paper right there as well, so maybe it's supposed to be like that. It's for the lower buttons, so yeah, they're both like that, so I'm guessing that that's intentional. Maybe they took off the secondary contact to use this for your in-lane dividers that are on both of these games. This looks a little suspect. Looks like they had something going on with the power service plug at one point in time. So I'll have to check that out a little bit more in detail. And this is kind of an interesting thing. So on these Ballys, instead of having a menu system on your coin door, you hit this button right here to enter the test and diagnostic and adjustment menu. Then you use this keypad and you have to enter in different codes for your value adjustments, which is kind of interesting. So, and then you can get back to your regular game mode by hitting the game button. So this is kind of a cool thing, but it's not very well laid out. I mean, you can navigate the menus using the A and B, but you have to know the values. Like to put it on free play, you have to enter in the number 65 in the free play area. You can't just say yes or no like most modern games, which is really strange. But I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess, but Bally's diagnostic system was a little different than Williams, which is what I'm more familiar with, and it just hangs on the inside of this cabinet. The lower cabinet actually looks in really nice condition. It's not horribly dirty. So that's a great sign there. So looking at this play field, it actually looks in pretty nice condition. There is a little bit of wear right here in the paint coming off the ball shooter lane, but that's really about the only spot. It does have Mylar over the whole thing, so I'm probably going to leave it intact because I don't want to lift up any paint due to this really old Mylar. All the plastics look to be in pretty good condition, no chipping or cracking, which is great because I don't even know if I can find plastics for this thing. There's like a little standoff right there that's missing, but that's about it. This area looks really good, no cracks. The ramp itself, no cracks, which is great. Everything's just super dirty. I mean, really dirty. That looks fine. The rubbers look okay. I mean, they're probably dried out. I mean, that looks okay. These are really old and yellow, hard as a rock. So I imagine all the stuff up in here in this area is just really just gone past it. So we're gonna do a full shop job on this, pull all the plastics off and put in all new Titan rings and LED the thing. It's gonna look pretty nice when I'm all said and done. Vacuum the cabinet, standard shop job. And I'll take you guys along the way with me as I'm working on this thing and see if we can get this thing looking nice and pretty, maybe do some upgrades along the way. So as far as the playfield on Hardbody, we can take a quick look at that. All in all, it looks to be in about the same condition. A lot of the rings are really old and just chipped out. I do see a broken plastic right there, just on the edge, not too terribly bad, but we'll have to get into this thing. This machine is blocking that right now, and it's kind of a two-person job moving this thing, and I don't have any help right now. So what we're gonna have to do, unfortunately, is we'll wait till next episode, and we're gonna go through this one, we'll fire it up, see what happens, and we're gonna fire this one up too. So it's kind of late at night, so I just got these in. I was excited to share them with you guys. So stay tuned and keep flipping.